Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Mandy. Welcome to today's episode of Throwback Thursday. I think I missed Throwback Thursday last week. I'm sorry about that. So on this video, I wanted to share with you my first, I believe this was my first successful negative space swipe, and I did it on this clock round. And forgive me, I don't remember where the clock round is from. It was probably from Michael's, because that looks like it's a 10-inch. Anyway, I was using some of Colourarte's Bling It colors at the time, which were new at the time that I made this. So I just want to share it with you. I just really love the composition, and I was still kind of new to trying this. So it's always like super fun when your first effort turns out great and you're like, oh, awesome. So the colors I used, and I don't know if I'll show them in the beginning because I had previewed the set before I started the video. So I'm using Luna, Indigo, Oasis, Chalcedony, and Meadow from Colourarte. Those are all Bling It colors. And then this one Boom Gel, which is Parrotfish Green. And I'm using a blue-black cell activator. So these are all Bling It colors. They're not primary elements. So, and they worked really beautifully together. So, I will probably speed this up just for the sake of time a little bit. But, I believe at the time that I created this video, I was probably using the Sherwin-Williams Infinity Gold as my untinted paint base, with excuse me, with Jo Sonja, and I was probably using Glidden Premium Eggshell as my pillow because this was a while back. But don't forget to check the discounts in the description box below. I still do think that the Infinity Gold is a good paint base, so if you only have a Lowe's or you don't particularly like the Bear products from Home Depot, I do still think that's a good paint base. I still have 2 gallons of it because I bought so much of it at the time. So even though primarily today I would probably use Bear Dynasty, I do still think that this is a good paint base, and you can see that it holds its structure nicely. Anyway, I think that this turned out to be super cute, and it was a good way for me to showcase these colors at the time that they came out. And I do believe that this was probably my first successful negative space swipe. And then I went on a journey where I wanted to do them all the time. You know how it is, right? So anyway, I'll speed things up and show you how it went. Anyway, thanks for joining me on Throwback Thursday. Just one talking point, because I haven't done a clock in a really long time. When I do clocks, I tape the bottom. But I leave room for the hole. So I actually cut out the hole at the bottom, so that way the paint can drain and doesn't pool up in that little hole. I know everybody does this differently. Some people tape the top and then they drill the hole when it's resined, but I don't do that. So, okay, let me speed things up a little bit for us. All right, so let's get our paint base down. I may have covered the hole while I painted, now that I'm thinking about it, so that, you know, maybe I think that is what I did. I think everything I just said is wrong, because otherwise my paint would be sinking. So I think I did tape it on the top. Anyway, forgive me because it's been a long time since I've done a clock round, but what I like about this is you can see that I didn't use like way too much paint. I did put a little paint down on the canvas to hold it in place, but I didn't use way too much paint on the top. So this is the paint we're using for the cell activator. It's Atelier Interactive in blue-black. It's absolutely hands down one of my favorite cell activators to use on negative space swipes. It is lovely for that. All right, so this is Luna. So this is a Bling It color, but it's sort of like an interference color in like a pearl gray base. So it's like an interference violet, but it has that pearl. And then that color on top of it is called Indigo from Colourarte, and it's a Bling It color. And then here's our Parrot Fish Green Boom Gel, always a nice one. And then Oasis is another color from Colourarte, and it looks more blue here, but it's really more of an aqua color. And this is the Chalcedony, beautiful color. And normally I would have shown you the colors up close, but I had already previewed them earlier in the video. This is Meadow. I really like this color. In fact, I don't use it as much as I should. It's a beautiful green, almost like, has almost like a seafoam tint to it. It's a really beautiful color. So as you can see, other than the Boom Gel, we used pretty much all Bling It colors. So the fact that we had such nice tight composition on this swipe was pretty remarkable. But I do notice I didn't use way too much paint like I always do, and I think that that worked out. So I'm using my small, excuse me, my small square palette knife. And, you know, I had very little idea what I was doing when I did this. I normally would try to create a little bit more movement so it's not so straight across, but I end up creating movement in the piece after I swipe it. This was one that it just worked out, you know, like I was even shocked myself at how well I think it turned out. You can tell I was trying to compensate so it wasn't so straight across on the side, but then I kind of did the same thing. But that goes to show you like how forgiving swipes can be, because you can have a pretty like blah composition and then create something out of it and rescue it. So hopefully that's what we'll see here. So now I'm just breaking up some of those places where I have a lot of cell activator, and I'm also using that as an opportunity to kind of blow some of it out into that negative space and kind of create a little bit more composition out there. I love the way that the Atelier blue black interacts with the white house paint and kind of gives you these like ghost cells. I always really love the way it looks. It's one of my favorites for this kind of a swipe. Now for blooms, oops, I messed up. For blooms, I know a lot of people do great with it. I find it difficult for blooms because it's so thick. So it works okay for me if I use a hair dryer. But if I blow it with my mouth, I have a hard time. So I still have some work to do to be able to use it that way. But it works great with a hair dryer because it's just the right amount of force to break up that paint and give you some nice cells. So, but yeah. So you can see I'm trying to create the movement with my skewer. I keep dragging my skewer and making a mess of the paint. So on the top, you can see where I kind of drug that paint by accident. That ends up expanding into what oh no, it's what I just did there that makes it expand and then made it worse. So I end up getting really hung up on that. I'm like, it looks like a bird beak. So I obsess with it until I can get it to a point where I'm okay with it. But what I should have done is touched it up before I spun it out. And basically, like, it kind of looks like a hummingbird beak. Like if I were just to take that one part that's like super crazy long and dip my finger in the paint to get it under control, it would have been a lot easier to deal with it later. But you can see, other than that part, the composition, just with the little bit of work that we did with the skewer, the composition starts looking great. But I do obsess over that weird hummingbird looking beak until I can get it to where I would like it to be. But if I could tell myself you know, if I could give myself advice, I would say, hey, before you spin that out, fix that weird beak thing, because it'll be a lot easier to fix before you spread it out and make it longer. But look how pretty those colors are together. It was just such a beautiful color palette. I really loved it. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy with my spinning. And this ended up, I was doing this swap of styles thing at the time with some other members of the Shelley art group. And this ended up being the piece that I gave. At the time we would, it was kind of like, almost like a secret gifting thing. You would get a person's name and everybody would, you know, mail this person a piece of art. And it would be kind of a surprise who had your name, yada, yada, yada. So you can see I'm really trying to fix the bird beak. But I get it to a point where I don't mind the point. I like the point. I think it works. I just minded it being so crazy long. So, like I said, if I had it to do again, I would dip my finger in the paint before I spun it out, control it that way before it spreads, and then we wouldn't have to be doing all this work with the palette knife. But we make it work, and it turns out beautiful. And yeah. But see what I just did with my finger? Had I done that in the very beginning, it would have been good. I don't know if I still have a resin result of this one to show you. It's like I'm making it worse. Just dip your finger in the paint. Dip your finger in. No more wiping. Just dip your finger in the paint. Sometimes that's what you gotta do. Dip your finger in the paint. It's like the more I wipe it, the worse it gets. Like I just messed it up. But these are the things you learn, right? This was still new for me. But if I could tell my younger self, just dip your little pinky finger in that paint, get rid of that spot. See, now I'm doing it. Now I have to refix my skewering. So, fun times. So anyway, I'm speeding this up because that goes on for a while. And then I'll show you a close-up after we spin it out, because I think it turns out really beautiful. And if I find the resin result, I'll add it. So here's the close-up. So you can see the colors up close. Really beautiful. I need to slow this down. So you can see the colors, how beautiful they are together. Those crazy looking cells in the pillow paint. I really like the way it turned out for my first negative space swipe that turned out well. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. Really pretty. So yeah, let me know what you think. I hope that you enjoyed this Throwback Thursday. And I do have some new stuff for you guys. I just have to edit the video. And yeah, this is probably one of my favorites from a blast from the past. But yeah, thanks for watching and have a great day. Let me know what you think. And again, thanks for being here. Again, there are lots of discounts in the description box. Of course, Colourarte. I think the Colourarte discount is now 5%. It's using Mandy1120, and then Pixel Paint Designs, Mandy10 in all caps, where I get my Boom Gels, Aussie Floetrol. There's a lot of discounts in there, so don't hesitate to check it out. Let me know what you think. Yeah, I have clock rounds. Maybe I should do another clock. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye. Hey everyone, I found a resin result clip. So this is what it looks like finished with the clock hands on it. I just thought you might benefit from seeing the final result. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks again for watching. Bye.